The WWE Universe is in absolute chaos after Becky Lynch just dropped the most shocking bombshell in recent memory, one that could change the entire landscape of professional wrestling forever. In a no-holds-barred interview, Becky, known as The Man, claimed that Seth Rollins' highly publicized injury was nothing but a staged work. According to her, the truth behind WWE's decision to fake Rollins' injury is far more sinister than anyone imagined, and the implications are sending shockwaves through the entire industry. This is no ordinary storyline, this is a full-blown backstage revolution that threatens to tear WWE apart from the inside. The camera focuses on a dimly lit studio where Becky Lynch sits, her fiery red hair cascading over her shoulders, her trademark confidence replaced by cold, grim determination. "You want the truth," she says, leaning forward into the microphone with an intensity that commands silence. Seth isn't injured. He never was. This was all a work, a cover-up for what's really happening behind the curtain. Instantly, the wrestling world collectively gasps. Becky explains that WWE Creative deliberately wrote Seth off TV to pave the way for Paul Heyman's new faction, featuring Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. But why go to such lengths? Becky claims Seth stumbled onto a secret he was never meant to uncover: plans surrounding Roman Reigns' return and Solo Sikoa's hidden agenda for the bloodline. According to Becky, for weeks fans believed Rollins was recovering from a legitimate injury, but in reality, it was a calculated move that allowed Heyman to consolidate power and rebuild the bloodline with new members like Tama Tonga, Tanga Loa, and Jeff Cobb, all while Roman remained mysteriously absent from television. The twist: Becky alleges that Roman's absence wasn't due to creative indecision but part of a bigger ruse connected to WWE's ultimate plan: the shocking return of Dean Ambrose, not as AEW's Jon Moxley, but as the Shield's wild card in the looming bloodline war. Suddenly, the studio doors fly open, and in strides Seth Rollins, no crutches, no knee brace, perfectly healthy. The internet explodes as he grabs a microphone, looks straight at Becky, and says, "You weren't supposed to tell them." Turning to the camera, he adds, "But since the truth is out, let me show you what we found." The screen cuts to unseen backstage footage. Heyman in a secret meeting with Solo Sikoa, Roman Reigns on a private call saying, "Keep Seth away at all costs," and, most shocking of all, CM Punk reviewing legal documents with WWE attorneys. A blurred file appears on screen titled, "Operation Shield Reunion, Contingency for Bloodline Implosion." The revelations spiral deeper. Medical reports confirm Seth was never injured. The supposed torn MCL was a storyline tool designed to give Heyman leverage, protect Roman's negotiation process, and allow Seth to investigate the escalating power struggle. Becky and Seth expose WWE's most ambitious storyline yet, a meta-narrative blending kayfabe and reality like never before. Roman Reigns is reportedly negotiating a contract to become WWE's first true special attraction since Brock Lesnar. Solo's faction was a placeholder for Roman's epic return, and WWE has been secretly negotiating with Jon Moxley for months to reform the Shield as a counterforce against both the Bloodline and Heyman's alliance. Adding to the chaos, CM Punk is rumored to return not as a wrestler, but as an authority figure, using his real-life legal expertise to oversee the impending faction war. This isn't just a storyline, it's a revolution. WWE has been orchestrating the most intricate deception in wrestling history, setting the stage for a war involving Roman Reigns, the Bloodline, Heyman's faction, and a reformed Shield. If you're not subscribed right now, you're missing history in the making. Like this video, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and sound off in the comments, do you believe Becky's claims? Is WWE's genius storytelling breaking barriers, or is it going too far? And most importantly, are you ready for the Shield's return? The revolution begins now. The WWE Universe has been turned upside down by one of the most explosive revelations in the company's history. Fans are reeling after Becky Lynch, the Man, herself, broke her silence in an interview that will be remembered for years to come. She didn't just throw shade, she dropped a nuclear truth bomb that threatens to destroy the very foundation of WWE's storytelling. For weeks, we've been told that Seth Rollins, the visionary, the architect, suffered a severe knee injury that would keep him sidelined for months. Reports of a torn MCL circulated like wildfire. Fans sent their best wishes. Social media trended with hashtags like #GetWellSeth. WWE programming teased his long road to recovery. But according to Becky, it was all a lie, a carefully constructed illusion. Rollins was never injured, not for a second, and the reason WWE faked this injury is something that will blow your mind and change everything you thought you knew about this company. Picture this: a dimly lit studio. The camera pans across a quiet room before settling on Becky Lynch. Her iconic fiery red hair frames a face that isn't smiling, isn't confident, it's deadly serious. You can feel the tension in the air as she leans forward, locking eyes with the camera. "You want the truth?" she asks, her voice steady but filled with rage. "Seth isn't injured. He never was. Everything you've been told, everything you've believed, it's all a work." The entire wrestling world gasps in disbelief. What could this mean? Why would WWE go to such extremes to fake something as major as a top star's injury? Becky continues, her voice cutting like a blade. "They needed Seth out of the picture because he found out something. Something big. Something about what's really happening backstage." She explains that WWE Creative deliberately wrote Seth Rollins off television to allow Paul Heyman to execute his plan, a plan to build a new faction from the ground up, using rising monsters like Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. But that was just the surface. The real reason Seth had to disappear. He uncovered secrets about Roman Reigns' upcoming return and Solo Sikoa's true agenda for the bloodline. According to Becky, WWE has been weaving a meta storyline behind the scenes, one that blurs the line between kayfabe and reality like never before. For weeks, while fans were praying for Seth's recovery, Heyman was consolidating his power, Solo was recruiting warriors from around the world, and Roman was orchestrating the next phase of his empire. Tama Tonga, Tanga Loa, and Jeff Cobb have already been whispered as new bloodline soldiers, strengthening a faction that's preparing for all-out war. And then Becky drops the real bombshell. The ultimate endgame is the shocking return of Dean Ambrose, not as AEW's Jon Moxley, but as the wild card for the Shield in an impending bloodline war. This isn't fantasy booking. This is WWE's secret master plan, and Becky has the receipts. As her revelations hit a fever pitch, the studio doors slam open. The camera jerks toward the sound. And there he is, Seth Rollins. No limp, no crutches, no brace. Perfectly healthy. The fans watching at home lose their minds. Seth walks in, his face a mix of frustration and pride. He grabs a mic, looks Becky dead in the eye, and says, "You weren't supposed to say anything." Then, turning to the camera, he adds, "But since the truth is out, let's finish this." The screen flickers to life, showing never-before-seen backstage footage. First, Paul Heyman in a secret meeting with Solo Sikoa. Then Roman Reigns on a private call saying, "Keep Seth away at all costs." And finally, the most shocking of all, CM Punk sitting with WWE lawyers, reviewing legal documents. The camera zooms in on a blurred title, Operation Shield Reunion, Contingency for Bloodline Implosion. Becky and Seth continue to unravel the web. Medical reports confirm what she claimed. Seth's supposed knee injury was pure fiction, a device to manipulate the audience and protect WWE's biggest secrets. Roman's absence from TV. Not creative indecision. He's been in closed-door meetings, negotiating a blockbuster contract that would turn him into WWE's first true, special attraction, since Brock Lesnar, appearing only for marquee matches. Solo's faction. A placeholder, a smokescreen, while Roman cements his empire. But the revelations don't stop there. Becky insists that WWE has been in secret talks with Jon Moxley for months, not for a cameo, not for a nostalgia pop, but for a full-time return to reform the Shield and go to war against both the Bloodline and Heyman's new faction. And what about CM Punk? According to the leaked documents, Punk isn't coming back to wrestle, at least not yet. His initial role will be as an on-screen authority figure, using his real-life legal expertise to oversee the chaos that's about to unfold. WWE is planning a storyline so layered, so ambitious, it makes the Attitude Era look tame. We're talking about a faction war involving the Bloodline, a reformed Shield, Heyman's monsters, and the wildcard presence of CM Punk controlling the chessboard. The stakes? Nothing less than the soul of WWE. This isn't just a storyline. This is WWE executing 4D chess, blending kayfabe and reality into the most complex narrative in wrestling history. With Becky and Seth blowing the whistle, the injury hoax exposed, and rumors of massive returns swirling, the road to WrestleMania just became a battlefield.